Welcome to the Arlington Street Church podcast. Founded in 1729, Arlington Street continues today as a gathering place for progressive people of faith in the greater Boston area and beyond. We are located at the corner of Arlington and Boylston Streets, across from the Public Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. Please visit ascboston.org for more information about this historic Unitarian Universalist congregation. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.
Good morning. Welcome to Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace. Welcome to the soul of Sunday. We are Unitarian Universalists. Ours is an historic faith with a progressive theology. We affirm the worth and dignity of every being and that we are all deeply interconnected. We are bound to one another, not by creed, but by covenant. And we are called to answer the call of love with open minds, open hearts, and open hands. Whoever you are, those of all nations, all creeds, all colors, all kinds of love, you are welcome here. Dearly beloved, I miss you, I love you, and I'm so happy we can be here Zooming together for worship. Let's start with a shout out to my colleagues, Director of Music, Mark David Buckles, Executive Minister, Reverend Beth Robbins, and to the entire Arlington Street staff. Thanks to our alto section leader, Hana Omori, joining us with her father, guitarist Kazuhiro Omori, all the way from Osaka, Japan. And a huge thank you to Daniel Rosenzweig, our tenor soloist. And to my tech team, Art Nava, Chala Hazar, Kem Moorhead, Richard Brew, and Sandy Dixon, who have so much more than stepped up in our hour of need to make it possible for us to worship together while we're apart, doing our part to flatten the curve of COVID-19 transmission and infection. Thanks to all of you who have sent in pictures of yourselves so far. We've printed them out, and they're taped to the pews so we can imagine all of us here together, and I won't have to preach to an empty sanctuary. Thank you for keeping me company. If you haven't already, please send your photo to office@ascboston.org. Even if we've never met or you've never worshiped here in person, we would love to see your beautiful faces. Thank you. And here is our beloved Reverend Beth with a few technical details.
Good morning, my friends. It is wonderful to be with you. If you need tech support during the service, our amazing tech team is standing by to help. You can reach out through the chat here on Zoom or post on Arlington Street's Facebook page. You can also email outreach@ascboston.org. If you haven't yet downloaded today's order of service, there's a link to that in the chat, and it's also on the homepage at ascboston.org. There's also a link there to Sermon Bingo, so you can play along while Reverend Kim preaches. All of the hymn lyrics are included in the order of service and will be posted in the chat so we can sing together even as we are apart. Let's talk for a minute about your view in Zoom. You have options. My suggestion is to use the speaker view, which will highlight the person who is currently speaking or singing. To find your view options, click on the top right or swipe your phone screen. It's also fun to pan the congregation sometimes, especially during the hymns. To do this, just switch your view to the gallery view. If you have a candle and matches nearby, in a moment we can light the chalice together. To help us remember that despite the screens, we are at worship and not at work, you may want to make your Zoom window full screen and to find a spot to rest your hands that is not your keyboard. And now, let's continue our virtual greetings. Please say hello in the chat. If you haven't found the chat box yet, you can touch the bottom of your screen or move your mouse. If you're on a phone, that should bring up a menu at the bottom, and you tap on the word More and then Chat. If you're watching from a computer, move your mouse a bit and a series of options should appear along the bottom. And from there, you just click on the one that says Chat. Let's say hello now and engage that Arlington Street spirit of welcome that transcends social distance as we greet one another heart to heart. Let's arrive for worship now with a deep breath together. Are you ready? As Kim lights our chalice, the symbol of our free faith, and you light your candles at home, we hold in our hearts the world of people who are being affected by this virulent pandemic. Those who are anxious and afraid, those who are sick, those who have lost loved ones, and all our essential workers, especially those working in healthcare. Across the centuries, we are assured by words attributed to Julian of Norwich, all will be well, and all will be well, and all manner of things will be well. This morning's chalice lighting is from American poet Ellen Bass. The thing is, to love life, to love it even when you have no stomach for it, and everything you've held dear crumbles like burnt paper in your hands, your throat filled with the silt of it. When grief sits with you, its tropical heat thickening the air, heavy as water, more fit for gills than for lungs. When grief weights you like your own flesh, only more of it, an obesity of grief, you think, how can a body withstand this? Then you hold life like a face between your palms, a plain face, no charming eye, no charming smile, no violet eyes. And you say, yes, I will take you. I will love you again. Let's sing together now. Mark David is going to lead us in Swimming to the Other Side.
Good morning, everyone. Good to see all of your faces here on my computer screen. I'm going to lead us in singing one of our favorite songs to do together, Emma's Revolutions, Swimming to the Other Side. Many of you know it. There are a lot of words, and you can follow along with them in the order of service, which I'm going to paste in the chat again, and I think Kim's going to post the lyrics there as well. So I hope you'll sing along with me, Swimming to the Other Side. We are living beneath the great Big Dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. I am alone and I'm searching hungering for answers in my time. I am balanced at the brink of wisdom. I'm impatient to receive a sign. I move forward with my senses open. Imperfection, it be my crime. In humility I will listen. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living neath the great Big Dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. On this journey through thoughts and feelings, binding intuition, my head, my heart, I am gathering the tools together. I'm preparing to do my part. All of those who have come before me band together and be my guide. Loving lessons that I will follow. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living neath the great Big Dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. When we get there, we'll discover all of the gifts we've been given to share have been with us since life's beginning, and we never noticed they were there. We can balance at the brink of wisdom, never recognizing that we've arrived. Loving spirits will live together. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living neath the great Big Dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. And now, live from Osaka, Japan, Hana Omori will sing us Sanctuary.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, love and true, with thanksgiving. I be a living sanctuary for you.
It is now time for our treasured ritual of sharing community candles of sorrow and joy. If you have a candle you'd like to share this morning, I invite you to type it in the chat. In addition to sharing our candles this morning, let's also reach out to one another in the week ahead, sharing the sorrows and the joys of our lives as we stay connected. May these times remind us of how very precious this beloved community is. We need one another. Despite having to stay apart, may we remain very close. And now, in the spirit of invocation, let's join in singing Sanctuary. The words are posted in the chat as well as printed in your order of service.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I be a living sanctuary for you.
Some of us come today with heavy hearts. We open our hearts to you.
A Candle of Sorrow from Margaret Famia. Rest in peace, artist and author Tommy DePaula. Thank you for sharing your illustrations and stories. May your pasta pot be filled with heavenly rewards. A mixed candle from Sharon Gentges, who says, today marks 2 years since my father's passing. I think of him often. I remember the day he died, the cherry blossoms were in bloom. Now when I see the cherry trees, I think of my dad. Frank Gentges, Presente. A candle of deep sorrow for Cecilia and Jean Clancy and their entire extended family at the death of Cecilia's brother-in-law, Kevin, from COVID-19. A candle of sorrow for the Clancy family at the death from cancer of young Stan. Our hearts are with you. An anonymous candle for my fellow nurses to survive this and then stand up united so it never happens again. A candle of sorrow for Anne Duvall at the death of her brother Tom from COVID-19. Our final candle of sorrow is from Tina Rose, who says, tomorrow marks the 40th anniversary of the death of my father Thomas, 2/3 of my life. My dad was a short, Italian, gregarious, welcoming, garrulous, energetic, funny, loving, giving, and passionate person. Sound familiar? I think so too. We also shared a keen fashion sense, though his color blindness made for interesting combinations. Think plaid pants and paisley shirts. Dad and I battled over many issues, and he wasn't a saint, but our mutual love never wavered. We missed so much together: my college graduation, my marriage, business and divorce, his grandchildren, Dan and Caroline, and most recently, his great-grandson, Miko. As a devout Catholic, I don't know if my dad would have understood Tina Rose. Yet, as an adoring and devoted father, I know he would have loved me unconditionally, and that would have made all the difference to me. Dad, I will always love you to the moon and back. Tina.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving,
And some of us come today in joy. We share your joy.
A candle in celebration of the 55th anniversary of Don and Phyllis Richter joining Arlington Street Church. We love you. A candle of great joy that Hana and her dad, Kazuhiro, are here with us this morning sharing their beautiful music from Osaka, Japan. A candle of deep gratitude to our treasurer, Liz Texera, for undauntedly pursuing the bureaucratic behemoth of the CARES Act funding for Arlington Street Church. From Dan Muho, who says, in these days, it has become so much more apparent how we are all connected. Last Sunday, I attended a virtual worship service with my friend Sharon, who's a Baptist minister in Connecticut. The community welcomed me into their virtual sanctuary and allowed me to read Psalm 117. We are all in this together. Stay strong. Our final candle of joy this morning is from the Arlington Street community. Congratulations to our rock star electrician, Matt DeChico, his wife Jenna, 2-year-old big sister Allie, and Uncle Danny Fournier on the safe arrival of baby Marina.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, love and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be your living sanctuary for you. Open my home to be a sanctuary, all made holy, love and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be your living sanctuary for you.
For all the sorrows and all the joys we hold in our hearts, we light a silent candle to remember and to rejoice. May the peace of this sanctuary enter into our hearts as we share a quiet moment together, breathing our prayers for ourselves, for one another, for our country, and for the world. Amen.
Will you join with me now in saying the affirmation and covenant of Arlington Street Church? The words are printed in your order of service. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another.
El amor es el espíritu de nuestra congregación y el servicio es nuestro regalo. Esto es a lo que nos comprometemos, convivir en paz, hablar nuestras verdades con amor y ayudarnos los los unos a los otros.
Let's sing together again now. Daniel Rosenzweig is going to lead us in Precious Lord, Take My Hand.
Tommy Dorsey was the great blues singer, pianist, and father of gospel music. He wrote Precious Lord in response to his inconsolable grief at the loss of his wife and infant son in childbirth. It was Dr. King's favorite hymn. He often invited Mahalia Jackson to sing it at civil rights rallies to inspire the crowds. When he felt dispirited in the middle of the night, he would call her, and she would sing it to him over the phone. Many of us long abandoned the use of the word Lord in reference to anything divine, but I'll be singing the original words, Precious Lord, as Dr. King sang it. You can also choose to sing Precious Love. It's all the same God, same love. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I am worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. When my way grows drear, precious Lord, linger near. When my life is almost gone, hear my cry, hear my call, hold my hand lest I fall. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I am worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. When the darkness appears and the night draws near, and the day is past and gone, at the river I stand, guide my feet, hold my hand. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I am worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to the light. us, Lord, lead me home.
It took me longer than it should have to realize what I'm feeling is grief. We're doing a heroic job finding new ways to be together while apart. The sight of you singing hymns in your individual Hollywood squares feels like warm honey being poured over my heart. In our first Poems to Go On gathering last Monday, I felt new friendships emerging. When your voices come to me through phone and computer, something brittle softens. And when I imagine the virus burning itself out, the jubilation and thanksgiving as we fill the sanctuary again, and being able to hug you, my eyes fill with tears of joy. I miss you so much. What have we lost? The rhythm of our routines, an unconscious trust that cause and effect are in order or that we can control outcomes. We've lost certainty. Even if none of that's ever really true, we've lost the illusion. Even if we are not yet grieving a death from this virus, we are grieving the world in which that was unimaginable. We are grieving in this unimaginable world. Grief is a signal flare powered by love, the suffering we feel when someone or something we love is taken from us or disappears. And grief is just the name we give to a whole trash can of emotions: shock, disbelief, anger, guilt, and profound sadness. Grief unmoors us. There is no bottom. And if we've ever doubted the mind, body, spirit connection, grief brings us up sharply, disrupting our physical health. We struggle to sleep or sleep all the time. We've lost our appetite or eat ourselves out of house and home. And our own mind becomes a very bad neighborhood to walk around in. We may wonder, why do I feel this bad? This just isn't that bad for me. But there are other forces at work. Welsh poet Dylan Thomas wrote my favorite line about grief. He said, after the first death, there is no other. I think he meant that our griefs compound, each one awakening all those that have gone before. My friend Peter, who was on the front lines of the AIDS pandemic, told the story of grocery shopping and finding a rotten melon in the produce section. He lifted it gently and stood stricken, tears streaming down his face. Grief sneaks up on us, and God's forbid if we don't feel the feelings right then and there. I promise you, they will lie in wait, and when we're least expecting them, leap out like a boogeyman from a dark closet. Unresolved grief festers and manifests in the ugliest of ways, as intrusive thoughts, depression, substance abuse, and poor health. Here are guidelines for living through grief. Acknowledge your suffering. Know that grief can set off many and varied emotions, including diffidence, terror, fury, and anguish. Understand that your grief is all yours, It may look very different from others' grief. Speak up and seek support from those you love. Remember that a text or a postcard is helpful. A phone call can be a lifeline. Go easy and take care of yourself physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Start by creating a routine of sleeping, eating, connecting, exercising if you can. Work on something or doing something meaningful. Dig deep in your spiritual practice. Get outside for some fresh air. Do things that bring you joy. Do not self-medicate. It will only delay your healing. Did I say, be kind to yourself? Some of you remember the September I returned from vacation having shattered my left wrist falling down a waterfall. I had a stainless steel erector set on my arm called a fixator, a kind of external skeleton. Everywhere I went, people stopped to talk to me about it. They wanted to know what had happened, and they wanted to tell me what had happened to them. Some of their boo-boos were also physical, but as we talked, it became apparent that many of them were so much more. We talked about the pain of broken bones and broken hearts. It was tender and moving to be, as I experienced it, in the great company of the bereaved. I was so excited the day the fixator finally came off and I went back out into the world with a simple brace on my arm. I had not cried once during the injury, setting, re-breaking, surgery, resetting, and all those months of healing, but suddenly I was on the verge of tears all the time. No one was talking to me. And I realized that I still had a boo-boo, but no one could see it. And you still had a boo-boo, but no one could see it. And it wasn't my arm or yours. We are all in the great company of the bereaved, going about our days with brave faces and our tender, broken open hearts. Swiss American psychiatrist and pioneer in dying and death, Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, taught that grief comes in stages, but I feel it comes in waves. The process of grieving is like riding a roller coaster, ups and downs, highs and lows, and a few wild curves thrown in for good measure. The grief roller coaster ride is also the roughest at the outset, with the lows lower and longer. How do we hold on? Counterintuitively, we need to let go. If we cling too tightly, we delay the inevitable, stepping off the map of our known universe and wandering bravely, if shakily, into an uncharted future. My strategy is to reflect deeply on the essence of what I love that has been lost, and to make a decision about how I intend to carry that forward. Perhaps like me, some of the best parts of you are the parts of those we loved that we carry on. Gratitude heals. The strongest markers of this grief that so many of us are carrying now are anxiety and fear and anxiety, natural reactions to being profoundly destabilized as the landscape of the virus changes daily, if not hourly. I learned a breathing, kind of singing technique from Emma Doyle, a yoga teacher and surfer on Cape Cod who witnessed the shark attack 2 summers ago that took the life of Arthur Medici. Emma writes, after Arthur died, anxiety hummed like a bass line through my body, accentuated by panic attacks when I tried to get back in the water. What had been a safe and therapeutic place became my worst nightmare. My imagination ran wild. My breath would quicken, my vision narrow, and I'd lose feeling in my face and fingers. Emma went to a free community meeting hosted by psychologist Peter Levine to help people begin to heal their trauma and grief. She writes, Dr. Levine asked us to tell of our experience. The room was quiet. I looked around, unsure of what I would say if I opened my mouth. My vision narrowed again. I began to cry and then breathe more quickly, unable to control myself. I felt the whole room turn toward me. Shame and terror flooded my body. Dr. Levine spoke to me gently. His request was simple. Breathe in deeply, he instructed. Then say the word VOO, V-O-O, VOO, as long as possible. It barely came out at first. VOO. Let's try it together. Let's breathe in and VOO. Ready? VOO. And then you can add a single note to it. Ready? VOO. Emma writes, after a few more tries with Dr. Levine VOOing with me, I began to calm down. My chest stopped heaving, my breathing steadied, and the crying stopped. The VOO breath is a practice for de-escalating anxiety. When we're feeling off kilter, it may not be possible to use our usual coping mechanisms, going to the gym or meeting with friends or off the table. For this time in our lives, we can develop other simple practices to help us cope. Emma Doyle concludes, when anxiety rides high, practice this. Inhale steadily and then sing the word VOO as long as you can. Repeat until you feel calmer. Shall we do it again together now? Ready? Good. Perhaps the most incongruous thing I would lift up about this grief we're all navigating now is the way it finds healing in humor. I appreciate so much the memes we've been circulating and the release of a big laugh. Thanks to those of you who sent me the tabby cat looking wet and rumpled and in no way pleased with the caption, when you work from home and somebody wants to have a video call. The list of worship planning resources for these times with hymns to avoid. Breathe on me, breath of God. Nope. Just a closer walk with thee. Nope. The hairstylist who is doing her boyfriend's hair every day they are in quarantine. So far, he appears as Princess Leia, Amy Winehouse, George Washington, and Cindy Lou Who. And my favorite so far, you're just going to have to picture this photo of some poor person captioned, when your hair salon is closed, but your dog groomer has a cancellation. Think poodle cut. It's okay to laugh. Beloved spiritual companions, I close now with lines from a letter written in 1513 by Franciscan friar Fra Giovanni Giocondo. I salute you. I am your friend, and my love for you goes deep. There is nothing I can give you which you do not have. But there is much, very much, that while I cannot give it, you can take. No heaven can come to us unless our hearts find rest in today. Take heaven. No peace lies in the future that is not hidden in the present. Take peace. There is a radiance and glory in the darkness, could we but see. And to see, we have only to look. I beseech you to look. Life is so full of meaning and purpose, so full of beauty. Courage, then, to claim it, and the knowledge that we are pilgrims together, wending through unknown country, home. I love you. Amen.
So we're going to sing another song together, Let Go by Dwayne Woods. It goes like this. Just when I stop worrying, wondering how the story ends, I let go and I let love lead the way. That's when things started happening, when I stopped looking at back then. I let go and I let love lead the way. Let's all try that. Just when I stop worrying. Just when I stop worrying, wondering how the story ends, I let go and I let love lead the way. That's when things started happening, when I stopped looking at back then. I let go and I let love lead the way. Sing it again, just when I stop. Just when I stop worrying, wondering how the story ends, I let go and I let love lead the way. That's when things started happening, when I stopped looking at back then. I let go and I let love lead the way. Now I'm just going to sing Let Go, Let Love, and I invite you to echo after me. So if I sing let go, let go, let love, let love, let go, let love, let go, let love, let go, let love, oh let go, let love, let go, let love, let go, let love, let go, let love, oh let go, let love, oh let go, oh let love, let go, let love, let go, let love, let go, oh let love, let go, let love, oh let go, let love, let go, let love. Just when I stop, just when I stop worrying, wondering how the story ends, I let go and I let love lead the way. That's when things started happening. When I stopped looking at back then, I let go and I let love lead the way. Let love lead, let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way.
Friends, generosity is always a spiritual practice at Arlington Street Church. These are extraordinary times that call for extraordinary generosity. Only those of us who absolutely need to be are out and about. A huge shout out to our essential workers. This week, the CDC has asked that when any of us must go out, we cover our nose and our mouths. A simple scarf, bandana, or t-shirt will not protect us from getting COVID-19, but it might just help lessen the spread and flatten the curve of infection. Each of us is part of this giant effort to starve the virus of hosts and so burn it out. This sheltering and masking is an unparalleled gesture of solidarity and community. It's an act of love. This is the fulfillment of our great covenant to help one another. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. We are all in this together. Each of us has the power to make a difference in these difficult days, to do our part to strengthen the safety net that holds and upholds us all. Your generous enthusiasm and support for everything Arlington Street is doing right now to keep us all strong and connected is deeply appreciated. Thank you for never ceasing to amaze us. Please take a moment now to fill our virtual collection plate. You can text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to 617-300-0509 or scan the QR code in the order of service, or click on the yellow Donate button on the bottom right of the homepage at ascboston.org. Here's that number again, 617-300-0509. Thank you for your generosity. As you make your gift to sustain our beloved community, please continue to share in the live chat what inspires you during these difficult days. Thank you.
Good morning from Japan. This is my dad, and thank you for having us. We will be playing 上を向いて歩こう. I look up as I walk. This is popular Japanese song. The lyrics tell the story of a man who looks up and whistles when he is walking so that his tears won't fall. If you look up, grief will be gone. 上を向いて歩こう。涙がこぼれないように思い出す春の日一人ぼっちの夜上を向いて歩こう滲んだ星を数え思い出す夏の日一人ぼっちの夜幸せは雲の上に幸せは空の上に上を向いて歩こう涙がこぼれないよう泣きながら歩く一人ぼっちの夜思い出す秋の日一人ぼっちの夜悲しみは星の影に悲しみは月の影に上を向いて歩こう涙がこぼれないように泣きながら歩く一人ぼっちの夜一人
This coming week, we have lots of great events happening in the Arlington Street Zoom room. All of these events and more are listed on the homepage at ascboston.org. On Monday at 4, Reverend Kim is hosting Poems to Go On. It's National Poetry Month. Celebrate by bringing some of your favorite poems to share, or feel free to stop by and just listen. On Wednesday, Reverend Kim and I will be hosting Tea Again at 4 o'clock, which will be followed by a mini concert by Chilean saxophonist Patricia Perez. Don't miss it. Next Sunday at 1, our young adult group is organizing a fun afternoon of virtual games. Arlington Street community members of all ages are encouraged to come and play. Indulge is our annual fundraising auction and gala. The party will happen when we can be back together again. The auction is now online and open for bidding. We really count on the income to make our budget, and now we're counting on you. You can find the link to the auction at ascboston.org. There are lots of wonderful items in this year's auction. Please bid generously. If you like, feel free to stay in this Zoom room after the service today to visit during virtual coffee hour. Before I turn it over to Mark David for our closing hymn, a final thank you to all of you who joined in today's virtual worship, and again, to all of those who made it possible. Let's be together like this throughout the week, and again for a special Easter service next Sunday at 11. We are all in this together. I love you.
Hi, everyone. We're going to sing Holly Near's I Am Willing. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. Hope you'll sing along with me. It goes like this. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. Let's sing that all again together. I am open and I am willing. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up, so lift me up to the light of change. There is hurting in my family. There is sorrow in my town. There is panic all across the nation, and there is wailing the whole world round. But I am open, and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It is the winds of change caress us, even though it burns our eyes, 'cause I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. Give me a mighty oak to hold my confusion. Give me a desert to hold my fears. Give me a sunset to hold my wonder. And give me an ocean to hold my tears. 'Cause I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. So lift me up to the light of change. So lift me up, lift me up to the light of change.
For our benediction, I invite you to put your hands over your heart in Namaste. I bow to the divine in you. These are the words of Fra Giovanni. No heaven can come to us unless our hearts find rest in today. Take heaven. No peace lies in the future that is not hidden in the present. Take peace. There is a radiance and glory in the darkness, could we but see, and to see we have only to look. I beseech you to look. Life is so full of meaning and purpose, so full of beauty. Courage then to claim it, and the knowledge that we are pilgrims together, wending through unknown country home. Let us keep this faith, beloveds, and pass it on. The service begins when the service ends. Bless your hearts. I love you. Amen.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go.
Please visit ascboston.org for more information about this historic Unitarian Universalist congregation. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.